There are some things that you should have known years ago, but it's never too late, so why not get to know them today? We are all self-made, but only the successful will admit it. Earl Nightingale. Those who have heard of him only know that he was a radio host and an author. But Earl Nightingale was there in Pearl Harbor when it was attacked, and one of the very few sailors that made it out alive from the debris. And many don't know that he had a tough childhood. After his father left him, he and his mother spent their time in a tent city during the 1930s Great Depression in America. And in the end, what happened? When he died, he was one of the most successful motivational speakers and business coaches in the history of America, who transformed many businesses and touched many lives. And in between it was the hard work, dedication, wisdom, and the relentless attitude of never giving up your dreams. The perfect formula for anyone to become a self-made man. But how can you become a self-made person? Let's listen to some advice that'll give you some hints. You have to make the shift from being a consumer in the economy to becoming an owner, and you do it by becoming an investor. Tony Robbins. In a world full of mindless consumers, become a mindful investor. That simplifies the entire meaning of what Tony Robbins wrote years ago. As the personal debt of individuals and families keeps reaching new record highs each passing year, one thing is certain. People are becoming more and more enslaved by debt. And at the core of this modern-day debt slavery is the lack of financial and investment understanding. People just mindlessly consume things they cannot afford and never try to find safe and profitable investment opportunities. So, take my advice. Stop being a debt slave and don't let marketing get to your head. Learn about finance, learn how to read company financials, and study accounting and taxation. It's not rocket science after all. Start becoming an investor. Own things that will make you rich. Is investing and financial education all you need to be rich and successful? Nah, something is missing. Let's look at the next one to get an idea. If people are not laughing at your goals are too small. Azim Premji. The story of Aziz Premji, the Indian billionaire, is not a story of from rags to riches, but inspirational nevertheless. His father was an affluent entrepreneur and not a stranger to dreaming big, and Azim followed in his father's footsteps. Believe it or not, after the death of his father, Azim took over the food and vegetable company his father had started and within 20 years made it one of the most successful and largest multinational corporations in India. Many people must have laughed at young Azim's goals as he transformed a company that was making vegetable oils and soap into a diverse conglomerate that ventured into IT and software. Today, he is known as the czar of the Indian IT industry. And someone who started from a vegetable company does not simply become the czar of IT without chasing after crazy goals. So, there you have it. Have ambitions in your life and make sure others can laugh at them. Ambitions and investing are all good, but the formula is quite not complete without one other vital ingredient: time. How you manage your time will determine how your future is destined and where it is going. The only difference between a rich person and a poor person is how they use their time. Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki has given invaluable advice over the past few decades on how to be successful, rich, and happy. Perhaps the simplest, yet one easily overlooked advice from him is this: managing the most precious asset you have that will never regain once you let it go, your time. How you use your time will ultimately decide where your life is headed. How much effort you put in and how many sacrifices you are willing to make are all tied with your time. Ultimately, isn't that what all this is about? You can either chill with your friends, go on a date with your girlfriend, or get really drunk and smoke some weed. Or you can concentrate your focus and time on learning something new and making some moves to start your own side hustle. The essence of being rich is how good you are at using your time productively. And this simple lesson is something that you must always keep in your mind. One of the best ways to end this video is by listening to someone who sticks to his own advice. you were born poor, it's not your mistake. But if you die poor, it's your mistake. Bill Gates. Once you hear Bill say this, you might think that it's easy for someone with $100 billion net worth to say that. But hey, it was not an easy job making Microsoft the biggest software company in the world, with over 1.5 billion users worldwide. Now, I agree, there's a lot being talked about Bill Gates these days, good stuff and bad stuff. But the one thing we can do is to get the good things out of anyone. And this piece of advice is one of the best pieces of motivation out there. I think you will agree with me on that. Destiny is something we can create and we can change. No one is born with their life story already written. No one is born with their mistakes predetermined. To be born poor, unfortunate, miserable, and unhealthy is definitely not anybody's fault. But if one dies poor, miserable, and unhealthy, that is definitely their fault. I mean, look at all that time you have in between your life and death. Well, assuming you don't die prematurely or in a plane crash. But the takeaway message here is, ultimately, it is your decision, whether you die rich or you die poor. Your call. And which way do you want it? And that's all for today. Stay with us, subscribe to our channel for more insightful videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.